Well, it was a dominating first map for the boys from Denmark as Heroic take quick control of map number 1 over on Nuke. Their home map indeed, and it showed itself as the final scoreline ended up being around 16-2. Not a lot of fight being put up at all by HellRaisers, but now we're going to head to HellRaisers' home turf as we switch over to Inferno for our second map. But the real question is there any hope at all for HellRaisers to bring it back and send us over to the third and final map?
No, I mean, I absolutely predict HellRaisers to, you know, at least put up a lot more of a fight than that, especially, you know, being the fact that Heroic doesn't really play this map too much. You know, but having said that, the person that I was really impressed that game with was Snappy, actually. You know, we've seen Nico have, like, these insane rounds. Madi really didn't see too much action at ramp. You know, he wasn't in the plays too much, except for when he was rotating to lower a lot of the time, and he was always rotating really quick and, you know, doing a good job. They really only came to Madi once, so he didn't really have much of a time, you know, to really shine that match. Nico at the silo, he didn't really have to do that much either, because almost every single round, you know, Valde and Yugi would put themselves in really good scenarios for their team to be in 4v3s, and then Snappy was just, you know, getting multi-fragged right after that, would kill 2 more and put it into a 3v1 or a 4v1. But I didn't really know Snappy had that good, you know, gun skills, you know, like what we saw. He just won every single gun battle.
It doesn't
every
help.
single one.
It doesn't help, but now, as you can see as well, just overall across this tournament so far, when you look at like the pistol round stats that have been played out here, Heroic just seems to be dominating in that respect too.
Yeah, and I think HellRaisers' style could, you know, work pretty well if you win the pistol. You know, the CTs, they might not have an alt 4th round if they all force buy, and you're just going against, you know, M4s, half armor, like light utility. And then you just kind of take these direct gun battles, maybe put into 3v3s, and even if you lose the round, you still have like 2 more rounds that you could buy afterwards, and, you know, keep with that strategy, and most likely you're going to win one of those 3 to force them on an eco, right? Like, that's when the strategy can work. But when you're playing against a team that's like fully bought and you're just looking for those direct gun battles at outside, and you know, have Yugi just opting underneath heaven, Valde getting flashed and then peeking, like, it's just not a strategy for success. But now we do move on to Inferno, and HellRaisers definitely much better on Inferno than they are on, you know, Nuke. So Nico gets the deagle, though. I love it.
Yep, right from the start, we'll have him working with it. Not the raid boss buy necessarily, though, but you can definitely work the deagle with that armor, as he can just peek out from corners and whatnot. Heroic, they're moving. It's just this massive players, but Angel's ready to hold that with a CZ, only for 1 pickup, however, as Yugi and now Madi are going to be able to respond to that with 2 of their own. Nico also waiting for the banana push, lining up for 1. He does get traded out immediately afterwards by 0, however, so puts us into a 3v2. When you consider the fact that Madi and Yugi have all been heavily lit here, they are going to be under a little bit of pressure, but thankfully, that'll be abated now that Snappy takes out Bondnik without getting traded. So 0 alone here in the 1v3 situation. Not going to be looking too good about this. He obviously should have a good idea about where Snappy may be playing from, but the other 2 are essentially going to be a complete mystery to him. He's got no intel, but the post-plant positioning doesn't seem to have a kit either, and I'm not sure if there was 1 picked up that he's going to be able to easily retrieve. So running low on time, he'll have to basically just make a move on this one. Gets the location of Madi, but nothing really being found out here as he checks for flanks. Not going to catch it, though, and he does his resolve to fall back since this isn't going to work and let Heroic take control of yet another pistol here in this tournament.
I mean, the kill by Snappy on Bondnik, just in the 3v2, pretty much, you know, clinches that round for Heroic. And Snappy, again, just coming from Nuke, he's just closing out the rounds each and every time. It's a 3v2. What does Snappy do? He kills Bondnik, puts in the 3v1 where they know 0 is, post-plant in a 3v1 where the bomb's going to be planted out in the open. It's just an impossible scenario for 0 to succeed in. And, you know, Heroic wins another piss round. So we're going to see a force buy HellRaisers, a couple deagles, 5-7, you know, a couple CZs.
So now HellRaisers are actually going to take a little bit of a gamble here, too, with their positioning. They go for a full 4-man stack over on the B-bomb side. But what's more interesting about it is the fact that they do try to make it look like it's a more normal stack. They just keep 2 on the site, and they've only sent 2 out. But this is still something that's like relatively typical, judging from their positions as they pushed out. So Heroic, if they were to go for like a big push on Banana and check for that, they would see that, okay, maybe it's just 2 here as per normal. We can try to push this pretty easily, but then the trap would be sprung when they actually end up moving into the site. We haven't seen them actually swing in this direction yet. They're actually playing around with the halls quite a bit, so this 4-man stack may become a bit of a useless stack in a few seconds here. And we have to see if the bomb is going to follow through, or if these guys in the halls are going to end up kind of falling back to swing up Banana regardless.
Yeah, and Dead Fox has to make it look like there's, you know, 3 people here at this A site if they want this to work. But Heroic's, you know, playing this round pretty much completely countering HellRaisers. I mean, HellRaisers is hoping that they scout B a little bit, they at least take top B control, they put it into maybe even a 4v3 is fine, and then they send 2 players in B to take the site or something like that, and then get those kills. But Dead Fox just all alone at A, and this is where the push is going to come. So this should be an easy round for Heroic. Yeah,
Heroic are going to push in and probably find him alone. He's not even going to be working with one of the big pistols like a Deagle primarily, but he does.
He only has 24 bullets. So.
Yeah. And really, only 12 of them are probably going to realistically be able to get used. So Valde just leaps right in, says goodbye to Dead Fox and goodbye to any chance that HellRaisers upsetting upon this round. That pretty much seals the deal right there. And the best hope for HellRaisers now is going to be to post up for a few exits, as Heroic are definitely going to be picking up round number 2 here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, and I don't really mind stacks like that, especially on that second round, because you're still going to probably keep a majority of your guns if you don't take peeks like that and you save, more safe. And then you just have another shot at it, right, in that third round, and you could play a more, default style if you want.
Yeah, Madi now just trying to hunt for these last few players, very carefully kind of paving way for his teammates to safely evacuate outside of the A bomb site, and they seem to have gotten pretty much everyone outside without risk of them dying to the bomb explosion or just running into a member of HellRaisers and being upset by that. So looks like everybody should be staying alive, and HellRaisers are trying to save a few of their own players here as well, so they'll still have a little bit of firepower going into this round, which would otherwise be just a full save. So they carry over 3 upgraded pistols, 2 with armor, and Stiko having a kit as well.
Yeah, they still do have the Deeg, though. There are 2 of them, so, I mean, anytime a Deeg's in play, you could have a chance of winning the round. But now a little bit of a different strategy. Valde mauling the car, getting nades off, and this time they're actually going to take top B control and contest it.
And Valde's going to swing right in and take out Zero this time. Thankfully, there's a response from Angel on the PT-50, but he's going to be chased out directly after that by Valde. Smokes in CT. That's the site under their control. Bondic can make an attempt to swing back in through the church here or just go through the smoke if he wants to in a second, but he's going to keep it at range right now. Deploys the smoke to counter out the default plant spot. He actually does catch Snappy running into him there with the CZ, so a good counter out at least. The problem here for HellRaisers is that the bomb itself is definitely not going to deploy over into this B-bomb site. Valde just resolves to back outside, and Dead Fox from inside is able to hold, actually, with just a measly little USP. He beats out Madi in a 1v1. That's going to be corrected by Nico, however, as he pushes forward past the hay barrel and able to take him out. But now he's going to have more problems, as in a second, Stiko, along with one of his teammates, are going to be lined up, pushing in from the Moto side to try and stop Nico from holding this one. Down to 17 HP, but Valde arrives over here on the balcony just in time to stop that from becoming an issue.
Yeah, that was scary, man, for Heroic there. Madi going out the halls, it's really difficult to take halls, sight from halls. There's just so many angles. I mean, when you start peeking sight, if they're a little bit deeper in that pit, as you saw, Dead Fox able to even kill him with just a USP. So a lot of that comes off Snappy, though, pushing into construction there. Probably shouldn't be doing something like that, but it was a nice opening from Valde on, I believe it was Zero with the Deagle, just instantly kills him.
Well, now Heroic are going to push up over here, mainly through alt mid. No pressure into the actual mid itself, and this is going to let a few players from HellRaisers push out of Banana when their smoke fades, if they would like here, as Heroic is once again focusing just primarily on the halls in the mid connector, or excuse me, not the mid connector, the mid choke point here in the early round. They haven't really put any effort into watching out for Banana at all, but that's going to change now with Valde moving back down through mid and having his position to check out players like Angel and Zero if they should continue on their push. It's not a full-on watch, though. He is having to do kind of double duty to check mid choke along with his own flank there. So they need to be very, very careful about that.
HellRaisers, though, this is really good by them. I love that the B player is saving his smoke.
So now we can see the T's deploying their own smoke. I think it ended up pluming a little bit further back than they would have liked, though. So this is going to be a little bit messy as they do push their way out. Immediately.
That was a perfect counter. That was the absolute perfect counter that Heroic just did. I don't know if they watched their demo and knew that they would be in a triple porch setup, but they go out halls through a smoke to get pick control, and then they come porch after that. The absolute perfect counter. That almost never happens when you're in a triple porch setup. I guarantee you, HellRaisers is like, how did that just occur? The one counter, like the perfect counter.
Yep, and that's going to give HellRaisers 0 options to be able to stop Heroic from winning this one. These last two, again, no choice but the lineup for exits here, and even that may prove to be a little bit difficult. Thankfully, Angel wins the first 1v1, but there's a trade from there's a trade from Madi just a few seconds, or Yugi, excuse me, just a few seconds later there now, and it leaves only Zero inside of those T halls holding back. And he's mainly looking for self-preservation at this point, not necessarily to pick up any additional kills. As once again, HellRaisers are going to end up on another eco here in a second.
Yeah, and I mean, you might think going Arch, you know, against a triple port setup might be like the better counter, but a lot of the time what happens when you go Arch is you get sprayed through the smoke from the ports guys, and also a lot of the time they boost on the roof or even on the close one towards boiler and then shoot you over the smoke. And even then you're going to run into, you know, maybe like a B player in CT spawn who can multi-frag, but that was, I'm very, very impressed with Heroic right now with that read.
So immediately we find ourselves in combat now for the next round here, but maybe Heroic's players getting a little bit too over-aggressive as they are walking, not necessarily checking their corners. So we're seeing a lot of trade kills come out from HellRaisers, or excuse, yeah, from HellRaisers there to try and bring the numbers down on Heroic. It does leave us into another 2v3 though, with Heroic basically just going for direct control of the A-bomb site, and it works out for them. So again, no choice for the B players but to rotate back out over towards mid and alt and try to hold this, looking for a few exits. It's going to be another basically walk-on round for Heroic as they pick up those entries and secure the round purely on that.
Yeah, I mean, just going to go up 5-0 here, just continuing on from Nuke. But that's one of the differences with the new Inferno now, is that you don't have to be nearly as afraid to take Hall's control as you were in the old Inferno. On the old Inferno, you almost never saw teams take Hall's control on their anti-ecos. Almost never, because, you know, for obvious reasons, the bedroom, the non-spammability, the wide open area in boiler. Is so much more difficult, but now Halls is a lot more open on these anti-ecos, makes it a lot easier for the T's to be successful on those rounds.
Well, this does take us into our next gun round here, as HellRaisers are going to have the cash flow to finally buy back up again, and this time they've got full utility and the op going onto Dead Fox. So we'll hope they'll have a little bit more firepower to strike back this time. They are going to use Dead Fox over on the A-bomb side, at least initially, though, instead of putting him at the position that a lot of teams are doing now, which is just putting them by the car spot on Banana, or obviously just having them play back if they don't want to go out as aggressively. So he'll be playing it from over here and focusing on mid as well, instead of over by the wrap side, trying to find himself an early peek out from there, and then probably falling back to the site once he's pressured.
Yeah, I love this by HellRaisers, though. They take banana control again. If this is going to be something that you could do, and this is going to be open, you need to do it every single round if you're HellRaisers. This is what you could leverage into rounds as a CT.
Yeah, as now Heroic are going to move back in, but there's a surprise from Zero. Perfect positioning over by Logs. He's able to get 2 of those kills, and Angel moves in for the 3rd. Valde obviously traded out Zero, but that's a huge crunch now against Heroic's numbers. It's just Madi and Nico that have to somehow bring this back. And they basically gained 0 map control for that, and as soon as that play happened, a re-smoke was applied further down Banana to prevent them from moving in a trade on Angel.
Yeah, and that was textbook from HellRaisers. Angel taking contact, but in a way where he's not going to die. Once he knows they're committing, he throws a deep smoke. All eyes are on him. Zero gets 2 free kills, essentially. Dies to the 3rd one. Angel wide peeks while he's shooting the 3rd one, gets the trade, goes into a 4v2, and falls back.
Now, the last 4 on HellRaisers are going to be split 2 for 2, but they're both boosted up on top. Bonda got flashed, though, and he loses his teammate, so the 2 remaining players on Heroic are going to be able to move in essentially unscathed. They don't take any serious damage from that fight, and now we're back down into another even engagement. Very, very possible that Heroic can just still shut this down, despite being utterly devastated at the beginning of the round here on Banana, but Dead Fox is going to do his best to bring it back as he moves in with the op, takes down Madi, and it leaves it all onto Nico to clutch. They immediately read with the Molotov, get him into the open, but the beautiful double spray from Nico, and he just destroys HellRaisers, still keeping them flawless in this map.
Heroic is pumped, man. One thing that you noticed is when the Molotov came down, Nico didn't panic. He didn't just immediately peek. He centered his crosshair. He waited an appropriate amount of time so that they, you know, still have to look elsewhere, and then he flies out and peeks. And just ridiculous shots by him. HellRaisers, again, they're in a 4v2, and it just seems like no matter what, HellRaisers, no round is a for sure win for them.
Yep. I mean, there's stuff that's working, especially with this aggressive play that they seem to have over Banana. And again, Dead Fox finding the kill this time too with the peek out from mid, but it means very little. That was a 2v4 essentially turnaround from Heroic that they were still able to pull back off. So even the number disadvantages, they can still bring it back from that, and that's going to happen again here now in this round. They start off with 2 kills in their direction, but now Nico's going to be able to move in for another one. However, Angel just seconds later with the op in hand is going to be able to punish a 3rd player on Heroic, so it's another 2v4 situation that they'll have to try to battle back from. Snappy positioning himself in Boiler. It is looking like they are going to try to move out and possibly take A control this time. Just kind of posting up right now, though, only having Snappy move into it, check things out outside of Boiler, but they'll group up just a moment later here, too, and try to move in. Oh, we actually saw Nico going across, and it looks like DeadFox had the read on that one, but had his crosshair in the wrong position, so Nico's going to be able to move in and punish that. Zero up on the site, though, along with Bondic, are going to be able to punish those last two players and take them out and prevent another round for Heroic. Finally, we have HellRaisers on the board.
Yeah, and if you're HellRaisers, I think you just keep, you keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, you lost that first gun round, but the B control is successful. You got yourself in a 4v2 the round before. If you can keep taking B control, and now maybe take B control this round, leave an op there, and send 4 towards A, I think you'll have a really good chance of winning these rounds.
Yeah. Well, now for Heroic here, still obviously on the full buy for the 8th round on the half. They're just going to send most of their players up through alt. And Madi is going to waste no time trying to move into the halls here in a moment and take control in that respect. Bondic, in the meanwhile, holding back over around the corner here. Nico, okay, just right up inside of the balcony room and sprays into the log hall where he's going to be able to take down Stico. Great response from DeadFox, however, as he does the same thing from the other side of the wall, knocking out Nico and bringing us back down into another 4v4. HellRaisers players definitely seem to be heating up now. We're seeing a lot more earlier kills coming out from HellRaisers. This isn't just a heroic stomp in the early rounds anymore. But now Heroic are going to be ready to execute inside, but they've got no smoke or flashbang even really over on porch side, so it's easy for DeadFox to connect on this next kill. Nobody watching out for that push on the smoke, though, so Valdi is going to be able to move back in. Madi boosting up inside of Graveyard there, takes out Bondic, and then DeadFox is next to go down to the ground. Zero, the last man standing, he's way over on B, completely disconnected from all of this action, so he's going to be saving, and Heroic are going to go right back onto winning out these rounds, and they'll reset the losing bonus from HR.
That's 2 times now that DeadFox has had great opportunities to, at least make the round manageable or, win the round there. The other time was when he was in pit, right, and they got boosted in that 2v4. He got entry'd. So a couple, missed opportunities from DeadFox. And I don't know about you, but Heroic seems pretty drilled on Inferno. They don't seem too, like they don't know what they're doing. Having said that, though, HellRaisers, when you're able to get top banana control like that, you don't need to be as aggressive at A or anything like that, especially because they're doing it with 2 people. They're taking control with 2 people. So if they're going to be able to take B control every single round, you should be able to leverage that into great opportunities for yourself on CT side. You should be able to leave an op banana there and maybe just leave like an op and a smoke on them and then send 4 towards A. And if they push back the opper, he gets smoke off the car and still, delay their take or anything like that. If they do try to retake with nades and whatnot, maybe get opportunistic kills. You're giving yourself a lot of opportunities for round wins, but for whatever reason, they're not able to leverage that really into any type of success.
HellRaisers now getting reset. They do leverage themselves into a force buy, but it's spread all over the place here. Again, they're taking that aggressive banana control, as you were mentioning here before, but this time not having the ops or really any of the big guns that they had in the last round, let alone the utility. 3 FAMASas. Someone's got a Nova playing over here by Porch. I think that's DeadFox this time that's going to have to work with it. After they move in and take the mid choke point control again, though, it's going to get smoked off this time, so it's not as free for Heroic. They just push right in from Porch and take that. Smoke's going into the arches along with Library, though. They are going to be free to sort of carve a path over into this A-bomb site, but they'll have to be conscious of flanks as they don't know what's waiting on the outside of the site, closer towards CT spawn or inside of Library there. Madi trying to make an impact over here, too, to get himself inside of the site, but they are having to rely on the Library players to kind of do it for them, as Valdi and Nico pick up those first 2 kills. Angel trading out for 1, but it's, again, not really going to mean much, as Heroic just walk onto the A site again and just clean it up, not even really seeming to sweat in the process, and the last man alive over on B is going to have to save.
I mean, just like the player positioning, though, why not have the Nova on top balk or inside the halls cubby, like on the right side, right? Where you have a chance. Why do you have the Nova player Porch, right?
Yeah.
You have a rotate coming from B. You have B control. You're going to be able to have 2 art side, right? Or however you want to do it. You can have that Nova player in halls where he's probably going to be able to get 1 kill. It's just questionable positioning by HellRaisers where they're really not giving their players the best opportunity to really succeed. So I think strategically, the top banana control is great, but they're not able to utilize it properly.
Yeah, now this is causing more and more issues for HellRaisers here. Because again, their money is going to be down on the dumps. Obviously, Zero saving from that last round way over in B, but the rest of his teammates are completely broke. And they're just going to nade stack here. I don't know where yet, but they've got a 5 nade stack across their team. So probably the 3 in mid and then the 2 back down Banana. It's not coming to align well, though, as Heroic have always been pushing up through alt mid instead. So that's a bit unfortunate. At most, I think it hits Valde for like 10 damage or so. What will work, though, is trying to push back in and just completely overwhelm Valde. That part is going to go well, but in terms of getting more kills than that, well, that's not going to really work out. As now all they've managed to do is kind of flip the table a little bit, and it's Heroic that just walk onto the A side and have control, and HellRaisers are trying to retake from T-spawn in a bit of an odd way there. But yeah, Heroic already just winning this round off of that. They are going to be able to move in and scavenge a second rifle, but the primary goal now is to keep Zero and Dead Fox alive with this so they can save a bit of money going into the next round, but even that's going to be difficult as now Yugi, he's able to move in and hunt down one of those 2 rifles, so only Stiko and scratch that now, just Zero remain inside of the church here. And Yugi already knows where he is. He's going to be a little bit more preservative, I think, in trying to hunt him down. Just trying to abuse if he's peeked out here at all, but not going to be finding it. They are definitely trying to move back in and drop him, though, as Heroic do have so much money to play with at this point. They are able to succeed, and once again, taking him out, preventing any save at all from HellRaisers, and forcing them to fully rebuy on their own regard into this next round, which, again, while it will get them M4s and very basic amounts of utility, they're not going to be able to get it off. They're not going to be able to get really any huge amounts of utility unless someone decides to downgrade to a UMP or a 5-7 or something like that. And that's what we're going to have happen with Zero. He goes to a FAMAS, so they can at least have 1 Molotov and an HE grenade in their arsenal this time.
Yeah, and they're still going to push towards B, and if you're Heroic, you keep letting them do it because, you know, they're not using it properly, right? They don't even go B. They just end up going A every single time, except for the 1 round that they... Yeah, no, they actually ended up losing that round. Right?
They went B that round, I think.
Yeah, but it was a 4v2.
Oh, you know, no, that was right. They did win that round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what should have happened is, if HellRaisers would have used that round, they would have taken B control and they would have left the op there and then sent forward towards A. That's how you want to play Inferno. And that's how you want to use that B control. But instead, I just don't think they're utilizing it properly.
Well, now we've got Heroic trying to move back in again. Much closer contact being taken by HellRaisers this time, but one of them's caught in a reload, but it doesn't work out. Dead Fox is able to double kill as they catch Yugi switching out weapons, I believe, from the up there. So that's going to punish them heavily. Now it's up to these players that move in and take pit control with that smoke wall. They've got the boost up into Graveyard again here, but Angel, Stiko pushing forward, and finally Stiko again from up on the balcony punishes those last few players, and that's the first time we've really seen a successful strat work out here for the CTs on HellRaisers.
And do you know why that happened?
Why is that?
Because they took B control and they left 1 there, and they finally adapted to what you know how you want to do it, right? Especially after when they kept 2 towards B and they got those kills. Like now, all of a sudden, Heroic's most likely going to go A the next round. They've had their opportunities. They just haven't, you know, strategically been all there.
Yeah, so finally we see a little bit of a pivot there from HR. Now, though, they're going to go back over to a 3-man stack on B, interestingly enough. It's only a 3rd man to deploy a little bit of utility, though. That's Bondic already moving back over to the A-bomb site. For now, he's going to kind of hang out in the event we do see Heroic try to follow through on banana pressure here, but good spot by Angel. Just barely catches Yugi right outside of the logs position and is able to isolate him. Now the re-smoke comes back in. That's going to keep Snappy hopefully back behind the smoke. Valde is still here, though, and now he's confirmed it. So Angel's going to move in, take that duel, punishing him, and dropping the bomb off, where at the moment there's no room for Heroic to retrieve it.
Yeah, and this is how the half should have started shaping up earlier on. You know, Heroic should have been being punished for not challenging B at all, running into 4 A stacks, and then what happens? They try to challenge B, you put 3 B if you're HellRaisers, you stomp on that, you get the bomb down, and this is what should have been happening.
Yeah, now this is where the utility comes in to help them out. The smoke that they didn't play wasn't even that great either. Nico, though, finding a beautiful 2 kills there as he picks up both Zero and Bondic, but Angel is still alive and well, and he ends up with the ace, all from Banana as well. Beautiful stuff from him to put Heroic down on the ground.
You see what I mean? Like, that's how the half should play out. So you take the B control, you kill them when they come B, then you send 4A. Then they come A, then they die, and you win the round. Then they're like, all right, this B control is becoming a problem. Let's challenge B. Bam, you have 3 towards B. You win that round. And then you could just keep playing off that.
Yeah.
And you start being 1 step ahead of the other team.
And it seems like they're going to be able to get that step ahead now, at least in terms of the economy here as well, with Angel and Dead Fox being back up to the double up setup and Heroic starting to be restricted a little bit. Granted, of course, still full AKs for them, but Stico picking up the first kill on Madi when he tries to move up the steps. Heroic wanted to go for fast toss control with at least 4 of their players, but 1 has already gone down. The other 3 moving in on a bit of a delay here now to try and hope that Stico would not still be in that position. Some damage was traded onto him, though, so he does not want to stick in that hall to trade out even more of those kills if he can. He decides to fall back and is going to play from within the pit instead, as HellRaisers do now have the 4-man stack on A waiting for this one, only leaving Angel with the op to defend over towards B.
Yeah, and this is pretty much just like textbook how you want to play Inferno when you get that banana control now. Now, finally, HellRaisers is doing it. And if they keep this up, they should be able to, you know, end with 6 rounds on the board and give themselves a really good chance to take this map.
Angel is still going to be tested, though, in a moment, as Heroic are shifting all their players over here to hold this. But with the prowess that he showed in the last round, he may be able to help out here, as he's definitely going to be calling for reinforcements in a second. He knows they're up to the half wall now and pushing against him. Only 30 seconds remain, however, for Heroic to get control of the site, and they are going to have to take a few seconds to deploy utility, as they know themselves that reinforcements are going to be on the way. Maybe a little bit too much delay now, as they've got a smoke in their path, and they're going to have to try and push past that, which could just lead into Angel destroying them all. Already with 3 kills now, as Zero comes in for the double from the Crips. The third snuck over to Grill, but Angel is just going to swing into that one on the right side of the new box, and again, shut down Heroic. Nearly a flawless round for HR.
Yeah, and they're going to force Heroic on a save. I'm assuming they'll save here and probably not Tech 9 armor. Nope, they do Tech 9 armor. So if I'm them, maybe I challenge B here and I say, you know, it's a good way to maybe just like pop flash the corner and try to win the round that way.
Yeah, as HellRaisers have not swayed from the pattern of getting aggressive down B at all.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
So if they can get them out in the open, that can help their case here, as the smoke does go down over at the half wall. Good nade, toss back in, but Angel nicely shot. Zero getting one up close. Angel's still alive, though. Now having to fall back a little bit. He's finally met his match against Valde, as he really saves the day over there, getting those 2 kills and bringing this down to a 2v2 overall. HellRaisers taking the battle, taking the bait on that one, and fighting with 3 players from Banana, but they lose all 3 of them, and now the A rotators have to move over swiftly. Thankfully, though, they've got the health advantage in a moment. They're going to have the utility advantage, too, as Heroic is deploying pretty much everything here, but the self-boost from Snappy, he's able to get up on top of the box, take down Dead Fox, and successfully retreat back over here to the old car spot, where now Stico is just going to have to try to push in from CT, but he's alone, and he really only knows where Snappy's playing from. Valde hasn't revealed himself just yet either. He still has the element of surprise to work with, and this is just going to be rough overall for Stico. As he walks in, there's that peek from Valde, and there's saying goodbye to the last player from HellRaisers, as Heroic take yet another round and get its double digits again for the first half of the map.
I mean, HellRaisers was set up perfectly there. They had 3 towards B. They had a smoke down that Heroic was coming through. Just unfortunately for them, ending it in a 2v2 just isn't enough in that situation, right? Valde gets the op. They have a ton of nades. The self-boost by Snappy, one of the main reasons that worked is because the player actually probably cleared the self-boost and then went towards construction, and then he self-boost. But now we're going to see a push by Bonde.
Bondic way downstairs. In fact, he almost just caught a kill, too, as someone was trying to sneak underneath into that pit there, but he would have more than likely ended up dying, not just because of the Molotov either, but because of the position from Bondic. I think that Heroic are going to be aware of this, though, and are now trying to box it back out and trying to do their best to punish these players. Valde lined up, kills both of them, pushing out from Banana, and now coming out through Mexico here. Snappy is going to be able to not only take down Bondic, but also eliminate Dead Fox as well. Great stuff from, again, that tag team duo, Valde and Snappy, really doing work here. The first response is going to come out from Stico, but that just reveals the fact that he's way over on A, and Madi's able to move in, punish that last player, and seal the deal for Heroic to at least go up to 11 this time on the first half of Inferno, on T side as well.
Yeah, and I mean, HellRaisers, I'm telling you, if they knew how to leverage that advantage, they started doing it later on in the half. I mean, even the last round that they lost before this one, that's a round they should win. That's the round they should win every single time. They get good nade damage off. They're running through a smoke. You have 3 players there. That should be an easy round for you. But HellRaisers, again, just a lot of the time their players were in pretty good positions to succeed, I think, and not able to capitalize on it. And then other times, just not using the B control properly was really the story of that half for me. HellRaisers had, like, everything they wanted. They just weren't able to execute it properly.
Yeah, especially with that top B control. It took, realistically, when we look at the first gun round, and by the time they adjusted that, it took like a good 6 or 7 rounds for them to finally read into that and change themselves up to, as you were mentioning, like rotate the 4th player over to A to be able to hold that and play the play that style appropriately. So that's going to cost them heavily now, especially, again, they're in this sort of situation where if they don't claim the first pistol or at the very least immediately upset in the second round on their force-up, they're pretty much going to be up against the wall in terms of the scoreline. And we'll have to battle against everything here as Madi moving right out, picks up the first kill against Angel. Dead Fox is going to move with some of the others as it's looking like HellRaisers are going to try to go back and take that quick Halls control and then swing this over towards A. The problem is, though, is that now that Heroic have cleared out Banana, they're continuing forward even more so. Snappy, along with Madi, holding for right now at the edge of it, but not for very long. Snappy now moving out, finds the player in mid, is almost able to take him down, but Yugi's going to finish the job, and it's not just him either. Now Nico finding more of them from inside of the pit here as he holds behind the broken wall level, and Yugi just whops his way into 2 more kills there. Bondic and Stiko both going down, and it secures yet another pistol for Heroic.
That was so intelligent by Yugi, though, because he saw the player at mid throw the flashbang, so he didn't even try to headshot him. He just body shotted the guy like 4 times, and he died. The guy's getting aim punched. I'm not sure who that was at mid before these 2 frags, but that was like really smart recognition by him.
Yeah, and now this is where HellRaisers are really going to be tested too, as they have to go without that plant directly into this next force buy here. Tech 9 armor pickups for pretty much the whole team. Angel's going to be providing the utility along with the Deagles, so maybe a little bit of hope there, but we'll wait and see upon that one, as for the most part, HellRaisers are just going directly for All's control at the start again, leaving Angel to watch for the flank along with mid control in a second here, but Heroic already moving a 3rd player back over here towards A. In a second, there's going to be more coming in as they're swinging into this site. Dead Fox, along with Bondic, able to pick up 2 kills from within the site. And Yugi doesn't want anything to do with this. He's already down at 2 HP. They keep it to an even 3v3. Site control goes by the way of HellRaisers, but reinforcements are on the way. They've got 2 Molotovs, 2 smokes still to battle their way back into this site. So there's still a really good chance for Heroic to win out this round, despite the control that HR now have. And they're going to start right up with those Molotovs to get themselves in. Great shot from Angel, though. Completely takes down Valde. Madi is going to burn out Dead Fox, but Angel keeps coming alive with these Deagle shots. He takes down Madi before finally going down to Yugi. And Yugi with 2 HP is now going to look to move back in and clutch this. He's low on time, though. Doesn't have a kit to play with currently either. And Bondic showing no signs of coming outside of pit. He finds him at the last second, but he's in the open as well. And Bondic will be able to close out on the round and give it to HellRaisers.
Yeah, and I think HellRaisers can make it close. I think their T side is probably going to be a bit better than their CT side, as Angel hit some really nice shots in this bit. You know, sometimes this new Inferno can be very, very T-sided. Even though I think it's inherently a little bit more of a CT-sided map in general. Like, I think it's like an 8.7, 9.6 average, probably half. You could have some monster T-sides on it.
Well, again, we have the usual 3-2 split from Heroic now, as they are going to be put onto just all 4 players except for Nico going for CZs, and everyone except for Yugi picking up armor as well. So still room to do a little bit of damage with the CZs. However, HellRaisers have the penultimate advantage here. And they're going to split up a little bit more this time, keeping the bomb back down below Crossroads, having a few players just kind of waiting in the event Heroic would try to push down Banana again. And still moving in for the Halls control itself now, as we have 3 players going for that. And keeping Angel to try and push the mid-choke point in a few seconds here. But still, that default lineup, now we have to see what this evolves into and whether they are going to try to send this up towards Banana or just go on their own route and keep trying to push into A, as we've been seeing so far up until this point now, when we do have the continued Banana pressure of leading into the site a little bit more. Angel just kind of move in and investigate, and in his investigation, he's able to find the head of Madi, popping that right off. Only 1 more to go, but actually finds himself in the smoke and confused himself a little bit. So Valde is going to be able to get a double, time to reload, maybe a 3rd. Not going to happen there, as Dead Fox does finally take him out of the match. In the meantime, Zero also took out 1 player, and Bondic going to be able to go for another. Just Yugi left alive down on B now, as he holds over here by the garden area, and in a long range duel like that, Dead Fox is going to be able to win it out.
Yeah, good recognition by Dead Fox. To realize that that player was already in construction. Yugi was walking for a while there. I don't think he hurt him either. I think that was just a good read by him in order to get that final frag. Because if Yugi kills him, yeah, the bomb's going to go to A and get down, but that's going to be probably a saved AK in that scenario. You know, bring it to this next round, maybe do some more economic damage. As we see, Nico is 22-11. Bit silent on Nuke, but like I said, he didn't have to do anything because it was just Yugi, Valde, and Snappy on Nuke that just closed out every round. Like, It was just so easy for him.
Every fight, basically, that they took, they won. Well, this time it's being made already a little bit closer here as the map has proven itself to be a tad more competitive going to HellRaisers' kind of home turf here, but they definitely didn't set themselves up for success with the first half. So
I like that flash. And then they could jump out halls like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and surprise the guy that's peeking down there if there is one.
Well, it'd even get him maybe if he's close as well, because you might have somebody boiler steps, right? And then somebody like Mag 17 close halls like that. And then if you flash like that, you're probably not going to die to the boiler guy because he's probably just on the steps itself unless he runs up.
Well, now we do have the rest of HellRaisers starting to move back in. And Bondic kind of leads the charge over here by the porch. They're making a lot of noise in those halls, though. I'm trying to make it seem like it's going to be a balcony play or something like that. Stiko also trying to push in over here towards Banana on his own. There's only going to be one player defending that, though, and that's going to be Madi. But meanwhile, Bondic hits his first target here. Keep in mind, granted, it's basically a full save for Heroic, except for giving Nico the Deagle here. And he'll be playing that inside of the pit. But Nico with the Deagle is always very dangerous. Just might not be, you know, as dangerous with the teammates, not really having anything else significant. So he goes down to Dead Fox, and he will continue his push forward here now as they eliminate everyone just systematically over on the A-bomb site. And Stiko investigating, and B finally hits his target against Madi to pick up that 7th round for HR. No trades either, so it's great and healthy for the HellRaisers economy to build itself up a little bit more here. Yeah,
they have a ton of money right now. Madi just going to be down to an ump, but they do have the op on Yugi because he did full save on their ecos. Just half armor on him, so limited utility. I think, you know, strategically speaking, maybe they should do something where they, you know, maybe put 3 towards B, try to take control. Looks like they're just more in a default setup, though. And Madi, is it B? I don't think Yugi's opping B. I think he's just opping art side.
He's just going to be playing out for there right now.
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, Heroic, I believe that's their smoke as well. They already used the mid smoke. Just a complete, like, default setup by them. Madi already going down to 30 HP. Personally, I don't really like this from Heroic. I think when you have a situation like this where you have low utility, you know they're fully bought, you have that op, maybe take some type of a risk. Like, playing so default like this, especially with your op on art side, you know, I think it's a lot better if he's at porch here. And as you can see, they did peek porch. Like, he might have been able to get a kill that way. I think that's a much better way to play these rounds when you're pretty much disadvantaged.
So now,
because HellRaisers is going to be able to do whatever they want. Like, anything that they want, they could do right now. But here we go. Heroic's doing probably a late B control, unless it's just a full read to stack B.
Heroic do have 3 players here to defend this, though. If HellRaisers do end up going into it with the elimination of 0, they're almost definitely going to be heading in that direction. Snap even starting to move, you know, further back towards like a position where he would rotate as well. As now they're going to move in, but they do catch a few of the players from Heroic out of position. Madi's in the open. Now Valde's got to look for some big trades here. Gets himself 2 before going down to shame. Yugi smoked back out in here in Garden, so he's just got to wait this one back out for the rotates. And until these smokes do start to fade away a little bit here. But Snappy already having arrived, and the 3rd player not too far behind him. Nico just outside of CT here. And what's even worse for HR is Stiko has moved over to Banana, expecting for at least one of these players to move back in, and now smokes himself off. But Angel able to hold for 1, buying time for Stiko to get back in through the smoke here. Nico immediately punishing Stiko, but Angel still keeping himself alive. He might just pull off this 1v3 on his own, but it's not going to happen. Yugi with the op punishes the last player and puts Heroic back onto the winning train as they're going to push on 13 here.
Man, all of Heroic's players are really good. I didn't really realize, you know, I don't get to watch them enough probably, but I think not only have they improved a lot in the, you know, past 6 months or, you know, few months or whatever, but just like aim wise, you know, players like that are able to get their kills, you know, mechanically speaking, they're very, very impressive. And I really like what they did. I was afraid that they were just going to play a very static CT side there, where they were just going to let HR do whatever they want and be in a 3-2 split with 3A. But Yugi goes over to B. They make a read like that. They make a little bit of a gamble, basically. And it ends up paying off, and they win the round. And they keep that off. Now, their buy, again, isn't very good, and HellRaisers has an even better buy than the round before. So they might have to do something like that again, where they do take a little bit of a risk.
Right now, they're just splitting up all across the map. HR having basically players in every portion of the map. They already moved up into old car control there, but they're kind of just hanging out, not really going to be moving into anything anytime soon. And the players over here by the mid choke point in halls are also trying to possibly get themselves out to get a little bit of boiler control. The smoke goes over on the rap side, which is going to push Yugi back over to the side.
I actually like this a lot, though, because if you notice what they did, I don't like that Molotov by Nico, but they were in a double pit setup, and they used no nades. no nades, right? And they don't use the nades until Yugi gets pushed back arch. So you get to save so much utility because all you have to watch is hulls. Yugi's watching your boiler, he's watching your middle. All you have to watch is hulls. You save all your utility. And if HellRaisers does any type of a slow play, you, in theory, should have the utility to you know, win the round if they come A late.
And now Stiko is going to try to sneak back in. Madi succeeds in dinking his opponent, but Stiko still gets that first entry kill. Yugi is going to be able to find the first player pushing out onto A, though, over here towards Rapside. And now Moore going to try to push balcony, but there's no one distracting Yugi anymore. So Snappy, along with Yugi, are all going to be able to focus on this porch side push. Dead Fox finding one trade, and Yugi actually misses the jump over here, but Nico is still going to be able to hold from within side of the pit. And it's Stiko at 3 HP. I doubt he's going to be able to pull this one back off. Just crouch peeks his way into Yugi's crosshair, where he's going to find his second kill in the round and the closing kill as well. That puts Heroic up to 14.
Yeah, and even though the B kill happened for HR, there was 0 rotate coming out of those A players. Snappy was staying on halls, Nico was staying in pit. Again, Snappy with the ump. I mean, Snappy's playing great, both these maps. But I really like that setup because, you know, like I said, you get to just save all your utility until Yugi gets pushed off.
And now Madi just going to push himself right back out here, too. We go back to the aggressive plays from Heroic, as HellRaisers as well wanted to try and take early control of this old car spot, but Heroic contesting it this time, and they end up coming out on top just slightly for right now, though, as they do lose Madi along the way, as you guys saw, but traded out an additional player to bring this down to a 4v3 situation.
Yeah, nice B push comes out from Heroic, gives themselves a bit of an advantage here. They send another player towards B. I believe he's boosted up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to be able to get a kill, fall down if they come B. You're generally not going to expect a boost like that in a 4v, you know, with a 4-man setup for the CT side.
I believe HellRaisers are going to decide to swing this over towards A instead, however. So just going to be that one leading there. And Yugi, I mean, even from this pretty far back position on highway, is still going to be able to catch players crossing out on the Rap side. So it may look like that's pretty well undefended, but it's definitely not the case, as you still have the op there able to catch and at least provide intel for the 2 within the site. But HellRaisers are looking to utilize primarily porch side and the balcony here. And the smoke is actually going to go deep, and it's pretty good because it blocks Nico's vision to the balcony partially as well. He'd have to swing out wide to be able to pick up kills. Snappy, though, going to find himself in a good position, despite him having to move around quite a bit. Finds Bondic, Nico swings out to catch 0, and now Dead Fox holding in his own regard. A quick flick to take out Snappy, but he's got a lot more work than that to try and do if he wants to clutch out this round, and he only has 17 seconds to do it here. With the bomb in hand, no way he's making a run for this side, even trying to watch his flank here too, but his smoke was redeployed by Heroic. He just got to try to hop through that, see if he can hit the kill, and if not, the round's going to end. And with this time now, he might as well just fall back and save, trying to carry that up at least into one more round for his team.
Yeah, Snappy once again with the ump gets that kill. Makes it an easy one for
just became expected at this point.
Yeah, but I mean it's just those little things that Heroic's doing that HellRaisers really doesn't. Just these little things, you know. The being able to save the utility around pit. I mean, there's 30 seconds left in the round, and you see Nico still has a smoke and a Molotov, right? It's like those little tiny things are what you could leverage into round wins, because when you're talking about like straight skill-wise, there's not much of a difference, right? There's, you know, in my opinion, Heroic probably has an edge there, but it's not like anything crazy. It's really just those little things.
Yeah, well, now we are going to have HellRaisers trying to still set up and actually hold themselves a lot more passively this time across the map. They take like Hall's control, but as you mentioned earlier, this is a pretty low-risk thing to do on the new version of this map now, so not even really having to take it away from the CTs. They didn't push up aggressively towards Banana this time. They're still just kind of holding it mid. Granted, Heroic didn't also push out either, so there wasn't much of a duel for them to take there. They are just being a bit cautious, though, in the event. They were still holding and not just peeking out. And now that the time's getting lower and they're running around at the mid-mark, but they do need to kind of look for options to utilize, now is when they're going to start to move into this push and try to move up to take a little bit of control towards B here. Heroic only having a 2-man setup, and basically all of their utility being gone as well does leave them in a bit of a risky position, with HellRaisers basically trying to go all in on this site in a second here. Still 3 on A, too. So this is going to be a big test for both Valde and Yugi to hold this off, as rotations are going to be a good 5 to 10 seconds away. And HellRaisers is probably going to move in just one big blob, as we're going to see now. However, Valde boosted up on top of the box, is able to get one, instantly traded out by Angel. And now Madi trying to hug the pole here. There's not a lot of room to navigate, though, so Angel is going to be able to swing in, pick up that second kill, securing them a 4v3 advantage. Dead Fox also watching this flank, but he was low HP, so Snappy's able to just roll right up with the taking down Dead Fox. Yugi holding close, but actually misses the first shot. Can't get his CZ out in time. And with Stiko also picking up this kill upon Snappy, now you're left to Nico to clutch this 1v3. He could very easily just run away and save this rifle. Keep in mind, they've got a huge cushion rounds, and I think that's going to be the choice he'll make here, instead of just mindlessly trying to go for the 1v3.
Yeah, and I think if you're Valde, though, after you get that first kill, even though you want to stay up there and you want to try to help Madi out, I think you just drop down no matter what, because it's just such an easy crit trade kill for the T's. Like, they're just going to pre-fire you and kill you really, really easily, right? So after you get that kill, if you just maintain construction control, you just hope Madi gets 1 or 2, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to spam through the smoke. Maybe I can kill somebody, but I'm going to stay alive more importantly. And Madi, good luck, bro. Good luck in the site. Instead of, giving that up, because that's just such an easy kill for Angel.
Yeah, as he's able to hold that very easily and pick up those kills from there. So now this is actually going to completely break Heroic now.
Yeah, or if you really, really want to make a play, you could drop down into the smoke and wait until Madi takes contact, and then underhand flash and push through the smoke. That's another option that you have if you want to go that route. But I think staying up there, it's just too easy of a trade kill for the T's.
HellRaisers again just spreading out this time around. Hall's control, a little bit of upwards banana control here too to take position by where the old car used to be. But not going to be able to levy that into a sight take just yet. Smoke goes in the way of this one. Stiko going to be falling back, but in a second, it's looking like Madi tests his luck and tries to push out there, although that's not going to work out so well. The flashbang gives it away loud and clear, and Stiko at his back face is able to spin around and punish Madi before he can get any real damage done there. The rest of the team is looking like they are going to follow off of that kill too, and more than likely end up executing on towards B. You've got
look at the read by Heroic. They sent 3 towards B because they have that player in A halls, and I mean, this round isn't over. Nico could definitely save this round.
He's going to be having the far back position though, and more than likely that is going to get smoked back off. So we'd want to have him rotate into a more sort of powerful position here if he can. You can see that CT smoke moving in now. Well, I believe they might have boosted him up. Snappy in the meanwhile does get the kill onto Zero, who was lurking over at A. And now Nico ready to hold this one back up. They're not going to check for it initially. Gets 1 kill. Quick trade from Dead Fox though. Yugi's still holding up and alive here as he finds Angel looking for the second kill, and he almost got it. Dead Fox is down to 1 HP, and Bondic not sitting much better at 27. Yugi just trying to slowly wrap back around. He finds himself the AK off of his teammate's corpse, but the nade from Snappy denies the plant again, and now they're on 10 seconds remaining. Bondic is going to go for the plant, but he's being pushed upon by these CTs. I don't know if they fully realize where he's positioned just yet, but they should definitely be able to hear the bomb. Bondic, though, isolating that first kill and lining up the headshot for the second one as he gets the beautiful 1v2 clutch, and again, keeps HellRaisers in this match.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the players just watching for the past 2 days. I think there's definitely some sound issues. People aren't quite able. The crowd's a bit loud and things like that. Because they definitely should have known Bondic was there, and it looked like they didn't. You should be able to hear the plant for sure and know that he's there. And he only has 30 health, so he kind of wins a miracle round there, in my opinion. 5 seconds left. You know where he is. He has 25 HP. You expect Heroic to win that, but the fact that they even made that round that close is a great effort for them in itself. If you're Heroic, I mean, that was basically a full eco.
Yeah, now it's going to keep HellRaisers alive for a little bit longer here. 6 rounds still to go before OT, and they're up against another big buy from Heroic, which includes the op on Yugi. Madi, of course, going down to the UMP, but these guys have already shown that they can do work with the UMP in the past. Granted, it's been primarily Snappy. That's really Madi that has been doing that work, but more than likely he'd be able to find some prowess with it as well. HellRaisers, again, though, they haven't really, we saw this earlier on the T side where they were much more decisively kind of pushing themselves into the sites, but now it's not so much. Now they're playing into much more of a sort of default style here and waiting, obviously, after they get Hull's control, maybe sending 1 or 2 players up to take that old car spot, but other than that, not making any moves to actually aggressively move in and take a bit of map control, which they can use to deploy onto the sites.
Yeah, and Heroic taking a little bit of a risk here. They just have 1 player towards B right now. The rotator from B came out. He's already at arch side, so essentially 4 towards A. And I think they're going to try to do a 2-3 split. 2 through CT spawn, 3 towards B.
as they are lining up for it now. Molotov is going to delay it here slightly, but they're getting ready to move in towards it, and Madi will be the first one on point to defend this over by the Archer's position. As smokes go deep, it's not going to cover off everything they wanted to use. Madi up close with the CZ, gets that kill. Bondic fast on a trade, but we also do have Valde moving back. Reads into the fact that they pushed through Arches there, and is now, we're going to see Valde, well, it looked like at least that he was actually going to hold back and not try to contest this, but instead goes for it, probably because of the timer. If he was able to stop the plant right there, then he might have thought that, okay, I can just win the round off of that, but not going to be the case. Leaves us down into a 3v3 afterwards, and a nice peek from Deadfox, again, just leaping into combat here as he picks up that first kill onto Snappy. And again, giving huge advantages to HellRaisers, so much so that Heroic aren't even going to attempt this anymore. They are going to fall back and save that op and rifle.
That was actually a really good play by Valde. I like how he played that a lot. I know he didn't win the round, but he went towards CT spawn, traded that kill, and there was no CT spawn smoke. But you gotta, there's 10 seconds left, right? You know they're coming. You just gotta hit the shot at the end of the day. It's just one of those positions. If he starts moving up to try to get construction, he's just gonna die holding W. So I actually think he played that really well. I know they lost the round, but I really do think he played that well. Did that player that was pushing Arches have a Zeus, by the way?
Yeah, he did. I think the first T.
Yeah, he had a Zeus, right?
He tried to shoot him with a Zeus at first. As I saw him pull it out earlier when they were like at the mid choke point, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was actually trying to Zeus him. I think he thought that was the only Arch player at Moto. I don't think they knew that Madi was in the Arches. They didn't spot him when he kind of ran out with the ump and then ran back. I don't think they heard him or anything. Because like I said, you know, there's other games going on in the event and whatnot. So there's like a lot of bass coming from other stages and stuff, and I think sound is a bit of an issue for the players.
Well, we are going to see a tactical pause called out by Heroic now as the scoreline continues to draw closer and closer to overtime here. And for Heroic in this next round, they're not going to have the greatest of a buys, so at the very least, we can somewhat expect it. Anyway, granted, Heroic have definitely been making it close in some of these Eco rounds. We could more than likely expect that HellRaisers would be able to make it up to at least 11 rounds. And then we really only have, like, you know, 2 or 3 gun rounds at most if Heroic want to stretch their buys and try to force into this a little bit before we end up in overtime. So Heroic definitely want to look for an option to try and close this out before that becomes a reality.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways you could play that B split. You know, I've talked to you about that before. If they're splitting banana, essentially what Heroic did is they ended up sending 2 towards spawn, and then you react to B later on. And usually they'll end up smoking spawn, and you'll be in like a 4v3 scenario retake, and you will probably maintain construction control. You can kind of just hold construction and kill the guys coming through spawn that way. With like 2 people, you could hold site side and maybe op into spawn if you have one. There's a lot of different ways to play it. So you definitely have a good amount of options as we are going live here.
Yeah, we're back into the match now here, so let's take a look and see if Heroic, maybe not on this round, but heading into the next one possibly, that they would be able to close out, or if it is going to be HellRaisers continuing on the warpath up to 15 rounds to try and tie this up and take it into overtime, as Valde and Yugi still being the ones to play over here towards B, and this time going back to the more active defenses we've seen from them. Unfortunately, the nade from HellRaisers aligns right with their own path, and Valde almost gets 100 damage naded right at the start of the round. He's already done it 14 because of that one. Yugi got hit a little bit less, so he's still going to be able to push back out and try to challenge this, but Deadfox, we've been seeing him come alive in these last like 5 or 6 rounds. He's continuing to do so, now hitting the first kill of the round, this time against the CT Opper, knocking out Yugi.
Yeah, and I actually think no matter what, you try to just save this op for Yugi in the next round.
HellRaisers, after getting that kill, they kind of bail out of banana there, and they are going to go back to just a straightforward execute here, more than likely. Players moving in. There's no resistance at the mid-choke point. Heroic decided to split it 2-2 after they lost Yugi, so you really are only going to have to worry about Nico on the rifle here. Snappy just got a P250. He is up on the balcony, though, but it doesn't actually know there is going to be a player pushing a ball, so we could get a surprise kill there. And there's Nico at the first one as well, finding Angel. All focus is probably going to be on him. Madi tries to swing back out, but Stiko's positioned to pretty much fully counter that one back out. They do check for Snappy and find him here, but he's still up on top, able to box out Nico and really prevent him from doing anything at all. And then they know where Snappy is. So nice, slow clear out of the A-bomb site to make sure they secure that round with as little losses as possible.
I mean, Heroic's taking really good, you know, calculated risks. I even think the op push by Yugi there, I know he got punished for it, but I think that was a good battle to take. It's just Deadfox, even though he had a player at logs, was very, very ready for it. Now Valde really wants to save this op. Not sure if Yugi's going to be able to buy one in the next round unless he just, you know, doesn't have half armor or any nades, really.
Yeah, and we definitely need to see that AWP presence coming back in, especially since DeadFox has been such a huge part of HellRaisers here in these past few rounds. In terms of his overall position on the scoreboard, I think he's like second or third for his team right now. So yeah, besides Angel, he's been one of the main driving forces that has been allowing HellRaisers to stay alive, especially in a lot of the closer situations. I think DeadFox has been one of the things that's been pushing it over the edge and allowing them to actually win out. You know, like those 2v2s or 3v3s, whatever it may be, and picking up those like crucial kills that allow them to get into a more safe position to win out the round.
Yeah, so Yugi is able to keep that op up, and we'll see what Heroic does. They haven't done any B aggression, really, but they might not be comfortable pushing it. You really have to be well drilled to execute that properly. If there's any holes in it, you know, a really good B player can, you know, on the T side can take advantage of that and get some kills. So looks like they just get maybe just a sight boost, and then they're not really putting any B pressure. So it's basically just like a default setup, but if they do have Yugi just kind of spotting at Arch, and they're able to just save all their utility at Porch and Halls, then, I mean, I do like that setup a lot. I think that gives you a good amount of win conditions. HellRaisers is just pushing back B and utilizing nades early on, but I don't think they have any intention right now to battle the CTs. I'm pretty sure the only reason they're doing this, as Madi just shoots through the smoke and does 97 damage to the Angel, so... But I don't think they have any intentions of actually taking battles there. They're simply just trying to make them use their utility, probably so that they end up going back B maybe later on and, you know, not having much utility to worry about from Heroic.
Yeah, HR now going to be sending pretty much everybody away from Banana except Stico. Yeah, there's just Hold over here at the mid-choke point and inside of those halls, getting ready to deploy into another A-take. Molly from the CTs, along with that smoke, is going to hold them back for a few extra seconds, more than likely. And they're running low on time overall here. I mean, HellRaisers down to, what, 30 seconds now to try and make this take happen. Flashes go in. Snappy's ready to take this. The first player they send in is the one at 2 HP, but thankfully, he's the one getting the intel. Bondic trading that one out afterwards, as now the rest of the team is going to move in to deploy themselves into this site. Nico remaining very quiet, though, but still, he's losing teammates. A few trades coming back into this one. Yugi with the op as well, first to strike, and Nico still hasn't made any sounds at all. They're going to think that they're safe to go for this plant, but they've got to be very, very careful. Oh, the crouching Nico back over here inside of the pit. They're definitely still safe to assume that someone is in there, though, as they've naded it back out. He's going to go for the peak, which DeadFox, again, will be able to punish. Talked before about how he's been the one hitting those crucial kills, and that was definitely one of them. It allows them to focus solely on the rotators moving back in, but still, Madi hitting one shot and falls down to DeadFox. He's going to get overwhelmed by Madi and Yugi, and off of that, it's going to be Heroic, ladies and gentlemen, that take control of map number 2 and win out this set, securing themselves a semi-final position over HellRaisers.
Yeah, and do you see how it's definitely like a strategy by Heroic to let those players in pit and just keep their utility for as long as possible. And there's about 30 seconds left, and Nico still has that smoke. He doesn't opt to smoke off Porch or anything like that. Just ends up smoking himself off when he gets Molotov. I think he probably peeked a little bit too early in pit there. Probably should have waited until his teammates went to site. But regardless, Heroic with a great performance, especially on that T side. And HellRaisers, I really think HellRaisers had everything they needed to win there, especially on that CT side. Like, I think they could have had a dominant CT half. Just the problem is they just didn't, they had everything they wanted when it came to B control and things like that. They just didn't know how to leverage it into round wins, positionally speaking, on that CT side. They didn't take the right gambles and the right risks at the right time. They got it back later on in the half. And to be honest, if they don't lose that Tech 9 round where they rush through the smoke, and Heroic does, against 3 players coming through a smoke when they had Tech 9s at Banana, I think probably HellRaisers win that, because they probably take the round after that, and then they have 2 more rounds to play with there. Yeah. I would have definitely thought they would have been favorites. But, you know, HellRaisers at the end of the day just gave up too many opportunities where they're just have the best opportunities possible to be successful, and just losing round after round and gun battle after gun battle that they really shouldn't be losing. Like, it's just every round from HellRaisers, even if they're in a 4v2, you never know they're going to win it. You can never be super confident that they're going to win it, and it just comes back to hurt them so much.
Well, guys, we are going to send it over to Paul on the stage as he has an interview ready. So, Paul, take it away.
Thank you very much, Blue. I am here with Snappy, who just said to me that felt particularly good. Why is that?
We had trouble playing best of threes for a long time, but we felt like we got a six maps we can play now. So it felt good to actually prove it, because I think a lot of people didn't think we could play Inferno. We kind of kept it a secret, but I think we showed on that T side that we are definitely ready to play it again.
Did you think that HellRaisers would offer more on Nuke?
Sometimes it can be hard to play terrorist when you're being shut down as shut down. So obviously I thought it would be harder to take that map, but sometimes we tried it ourselves. Sometimes you just run into a wall when you're a terrorist, and we're a good terrorist team, but we experienced it lots of times in practice and also in a few official games. So I think they just kind of hit a wall, and that's how it can be on Nuke sometimes.
So Snappy, being the boss of the team, making all the calls, does anyone else ever have any input in the rounds?
Yeah, we're trying to make people have more input. Velde sometimes say stuff. Obviously, Muddy when he's on the side. But in particular, we are trying to get Nico into that secondary caller role. And that's been working really well because he got a great read of the game. So we're trying to get him into that role, and he's trying to mid-round call more and more. So it's really pleasant for me because then I can think more about my own decisions sometimes. So yeah, that's how it is.
The next best of 3 that you will play will be tomorrow in the semi-finals, and that will be against Immortals. If I'm not mistaken, you guys haven't played each other before in the current lineups, at least.
No, we never faced them before. I watched some of the games. They rely a lot on their AWP, but they also have some really great executes. I mean, I think it's pretty. All the Brazilian teams have great executes, so I think we got to be ready to. We got to keep our molly so we can stop those heavy executes they're gonna come with.
All right, and so right now, how do you think you guys fare in terms of Danish power? Where do you guys rank?
Yeah, I don't think we can say that we are ranked above North and Astralis, but that's obviously our goal long term. But for now, we are still 3rd in Denmark.
All right, still 3rd, working on though. Final thing then, I'd love to get your opinion on this next matchup, Cloud9 coming up against G2, an absolutely insane match.
Yeah, it's a hard one to predict. G2 haven't been as dominant as they have lately in Pro League, and at Starletter they had really great results. So I think it could go both ways. Before the tournament, I would definitely have said G2, but now I feel like it can go both ways.
All right, any shout-outs to your organization, friends, family, crowd?
To my team, they did great.
There we go. Thank you so much, Snappy. We will be now heading into the final best of 3 of the day, and that is, of course, going to be between Cloud9 and G2. Alex, guys, take it away.
Perfect stuff. Snappy actually shedding a whole lot of light on what's going on the inner workings of Heroic. I also love that when asked about friends, family, who wanted to shout out, he does indeed shout out his team, perhaps covering all of those bases in one. Joining me though, Vendetta and Adren. This is going to be awesome to try and understand exactly where things went wrong for one side and why we didn't get the 3rd map we felt like was a guarantee. That's going to be our investigation. Sherlock and Watson are joining me on the desk. Start with you, Sherlock. First of all, where's the hat?
Well, okay, I would have said I'm Watson because it's elementary, my dear friend. That's well, partly because Heroic actually have practiced Inferno.
Secret, like a little pocket pick.
Exactly. So, you know, the counter pocket pick in many ways, because the HellRaisers obviously going into this know that Heroic haven't, you know, played any official games on the map. But you could definitely tell that on the T side, they definitely knew more than just your basic smokes and, you know, your basic approach to how to play Inferno. I think it was very impressive, actually, how solid they were with all of their wrap takes on the A-bomb side. For the better part of it, they actually were so effective with it that they kind of just ignored Banana for the better part of it. And one of the most baffling things that we saw from HellRaisers was the fact that they were given Banana control for the better part of the game and didn't do anything with it. Like, one of the most common rules on that map is that if you have Banana control, you leave a solo side defender on that B-bomb site, stack with 4 players on A, and you kind of play it off of that. HellRaisers didn't really do that, and I have no understanding as to why they wouldn't, because they were, like, it was a common theme in the game that, you know, the Heroic had no interest in that area.
Was that causing you some stress as well, watching that, then just not you profiting?
Yeah, definitely. It was very interesting that, you know, HellRaisers was given Banana so easily, and for that in like a high-level CS is like, okay, you're gonna give me a Banana? That's great. You cut off half the map for me, and like really, I'm gonna actually say that HellRaisers setups just really weren't that great on the A-bomb site, and they really need to take a look at that, because I honestly didn't think Heroic was that great at taking the A-bomb site. Right. It was just really HellRaisers playing like just not great setups.
What were some of the flaws you identified? Is it simply just, you know,
I think they were giving them too much room to work with. They needed to cut down at the choke points instead of playing too passively and just letting them have too much room. I mean, they did have some unique smokes over the top where they'd actually like jump out balcony, get in the pit. They had like a boost in pit where they actually saw into Moto. So they did have some unique stuff with the smokes and whatnot, but they just seemed like they just kept pounding that bomb site. And I think if you're looking at this team like Immortals, if they're looking at them, they're going to want to definitely exploit the fact that they didn't default Banana at all. And they just gave it for free.
I'm kind of curious whether or not Heroic has an idea of how they want to approach Banana, but they just figured, you know, we're riding with the win right now. Everything's going so swell over the A-bomb site, so why even, you know, never fix a winning team or never, you know.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So I wonder if that was their approach and they have something prepared for Banana. You would assume that if you've practiced Inferno, you have looked at that part of the map. Because I'd be shocked if they go into the matchup versus Immortals and just like...
Or like...
I'm sure they realize it. Yeah, I'm sure they do realize it, yeah.
Their printout of Inferno is just like been printed poorly, missing half of the map.
I mean, we've seen it with, you know, when teams approach new maps, whether it's a map that's been in the pool or if it's new, you know, when they do have a new grass bunny, they kind of just stick towards one part of the map. VP did that with the Overpass for the longest time, where they literally just knew where the A-bomb site was. And it might be a similar thing for Heroic as well. Like, obviously, they will have an idea of what to do towards Banana, but again, their comfort zone will find, you know, find their way towards A. Right.
Well, we expected it to go all the way to that third map. However, the first was the convincing one for Heroic. Felt like that series. We never got to really see HellRaisers in that first map.
Really didn't, and I think we're not going to be able to see Heroic on Nuke much more after this either. I would assume so, unless they go up against maybe G2. I think that might be the only team that can rival them on that map, out of the teams that are here right now.
And what was it that made that Nuke so convincing, do you think, Eric? Was it simply just that they are a team that has a fundamental understanding of how Nuke should be played? I mean, a 16-2, you'd expect HellRaisers with the aimers they do have to be able to make more of an impact.
Yeah, I feel like I just blinked or blacked out and I just forget the map. Like,
something happened.
Dominated.
That's the end of the story.
That's it.
Yeah. Lost their aim jewels, couldn't handle Heroic and their spectacular CT sides. However, this means we can start to just kind of reflect upon the loss of HellRaisers. If you were to give any feedback, you already started it, Eric, but I'll let you finish regarding HellRaisers and what they can kind of take home from this event. What do you think you've learned as someone that's been watching HellRaisers since day one? Tighten up their T side.
I like Snappy said. I think the T side, sometimes you can just run into like a wall and you just not know what to do. So I mean, definitely take a look at that demo, take what you can from it, and just try to improve. I mean, there's nothing really you can do there. But review the tape and try to improve. I mean, their Inferno, I think they kind of had. I think that. Oh, actually, the number one thing they should work on is probably pistols.
Yeah, actually.
I think they went like 1 and 8, 1 and 7
for the tournament or something. Yeah.
And you're not going to beat teams that are just as good as you by not winning pistols. So I mean, they lost both pistols on Inferno. Yeah. If they would have grabbed just one of those, it would have been a really tight game. Because actually, if that game would have kept progressing, I thought HellRaisers looked a little bit better on the T side. Yeah. But
it did look like we were like getting dangerous territory for Heroic at one point. I mean, it was like kind of 14-9 and 15-10.
I think someone said in the green room that, you know, there's no need to worry, and it's going to be over soon. And then we sat there for another 20 minutes. Yeah. So not naming names, of course.
Absolutely
but, you know.
not. I mean, I will admit that I did start to re-button up my shirt. I like to, you know, half button while watching. The button started getting done up about 15-9. Yeah, we had some time. That's an inside look into the green room. Seriously, I'm so glad there's not a microphone or a camera in there.
No, we'd be able to be fired.
Yes, we would. Well, anyway, we are horrible human beings, and you are too. Be sure to let us know how horrible you are with the hashtag DHOpen. I'm not sure how DreamHack are going to feel about that one, but
it's out there now.
Yep, it's there. It's come out of my mouth, as many things do. One more to come out of my mouth now is, of course, a reminder about Sliver. Sliver TV is another one of our sponsors here, and actually enables you to watch in a whole new realm, essentially. You're basically watching in virtual reality. You can sit and look around your favorite game, Counter-Strike, your favorite maps as your favorite players run around. It's something definitely worth checking out. We're going to have a little look at how things did go down with Sliver. You can check it out for yourself as well at sliver.tv. Still, we are going to take a break, but coming up, our final game of the day, and then sometimes I call it a crescendo, and I do wince at the idea, but already someone in Austin is getting excited. Cloud9 versus G2. Guys, there you go. All right, Austin, Texas is